The way that it is now. And I'm really happy to see that in the last 10, 15 years or so, more and more people are accepting and using the Tarot. When I started out, there were very little decks available, very basic decks. Rider-Waite was one of the more colorful and symbolic deck that you could relate to when he had it, created in, the early 1900s. So now I see a lot of people and they're talking about the tarot and I had to clear some things up. That's why I started these study groups, because I wanted people to say, if you're going to really use the tarot, I'd like to see you really use it with knowledge and history. People say you just use your intuition. You don't need to use anything else. Wrong. That is completely wrong. The study of the tarot is both an art and a science. That means the art is, of course, how you respond to the art. We all have different decks. People here will be using their own decks. And that's what I said, bring your own deck. That's the art. And the art is also the psychic impressions that you get. Now, the intuition for all of you, I did a whole couple of classes on intuition. And for those that came, understand what I'm speaking about. Your intuition is subjective. Your intuition is subjective to your own experiences, your own hopes and fears. And that's why the Celtic cross is so good, because it goes through all this, the spread. And that's good. You're going to need that. And then the science of it is, why did the author of your deck use a particular image, use a particular color? The tarot card is beyond the images that you see. The tarot cards are assigned certain astrology signs and numerology information. So again, when I started out, for those that you don't know me, in the early 70s, that's 1970s, remember the really old days, probably most of you don't even know those old days. I had a near-death experience. I had a almost very fatal car accident. And when I came out, I wanted to find out why it was predicted I would have it. Several months before I had the accident, I went for a reading. The woman was using just a plain deck of cards, and she had said, "You're going to have an automobile accident, and there's going to be two men by your side." Well, it came to be, and I was very curious. So I got a book on how to read the playing cards, and it was great. And I had a wonderful time learning it, and it fascinated me. A couple of years after that, I saw a class being offered on a little newsletter that came out in San Francisco. And so it was to read the tarot cards. I really didn't know what the tarot cards were. So I went and I took it. And after a few classes, the teacher asked me to stay behind and said, "You're really good at this." And I just loved it. As I say, my love affair with the tarot started in the early 1970s. I just loved it. I carried my cards everywhere. I read for everyone I could. Now, that's something I want to tell you. You can read for yourself, and it's not easy to read for yourself because you are subjective. You will pick up the cards, here's my cards. I'll go, oh, should I take that gig? Should I go do that thing? And then I look and I go, oh, those are not the right cards. I better redo this. Or you assign it something that you want it to be. So it is difficult to read for your cards, your own self. It's not impossible. I think you could take your cards, write them down, journal them, see how you feel about them, look up your book. All the decks probably, I don't know, all the new decks come with a little booklet. It's okay. It's not bad. If you can get a bigger book that goes through the symbols, why did that author, that creator, use that particular symbol or hand gesture or particular color? That's what you want to learn. You want to understand why things were used in it, because from the intuitive mind, you move into the psychic mind if you're serious about this, if you're evolving. And that is more objective. There are things that I have said in readings, there is no way I would ever have said to somebody like whatever I was advising, whatever I was doing. So you see the difference between subjective and objective. Subjective is the intuition is my personal experiences, my hopes and fears. Not a bad thing. It can keep you out of that dark alleyway from walking down that alleyway. But is it enough for you to do readings? That's why I always, when I used to teach the Tarot starting from the 1980s, I've been teaching it for years, and then I, stopped when I kind of retired. And I would say read for each other. There came a time in each class that we would read for each other. That gave you an opportunity to learn more. So it's hard to read for yourself. Reading for others is a good way to learn. I happen to know groups that they study and they never read for anyone else. They only talk about study the tarot. And I'm still studying it. I'm always learning something. So the tarot links the conscious mind to the subconscious mind, which is the intuitive mind. From the subconscious mind, we go to what's called the superconscious mind, but that's the intuitive mind. And then it goes beyond, as I've been saying. It's a tool. The tarot itself is not going to give you anything that you don't already know within yourself. I know people, clients used to come to me, and if they didn't like what I was saying, they'd say, ask the tarot, ask the cards, June. Like, okay. So, and to me, it was funny because it is me. And after so many years of reading, I love the tarot. I still use it, but I don't really need it to see into somebody psychically, read their aura and energy. So, it's a tool in advancing your own self-awareness and a guide to fulfilling valuable goals. That's the tarot. And so that's pretty exciting. And it's a wonderful tool. I, again, say that you really will want to study it and not only use your intuition to read it. You should know really basically, you should know what every card symbolize, what it means. What are the symbols in it? What is the message? The tarot always has a message in it. And there are 22 major arcana, and we're going to study some of that now. The major arcana. Once you learn the major arcana in depth, it will really help you with the minor arcana. And what is the word arcana? If anybody knows what the word is, arcana. So I can't see chat, so I don't know if you even answered me. And so the word arcana means hidden knowledge. Those that have the key to spiritual psychic knowledge. That's the arcana.